Hello dear students, this is Madhusmita. I welcome you to my channel. Today I will be covering a new topic of aberration. As earlier I have completed chromatic aberration. In chromatic aberration we have discussed what is chromatic aberration, the types of chromatic aberrations, and we have found out some expressions for the chromatic aberration to find out the amount of chromatic aberration in a lens. And today I am going to discuss about monochromatic aberration. So today we are going to start monochromatic aberration. So in this we are going to discuss what is monochromatic aberration, what are the types of monochromatic aberrations. We will be finding some expressions for the amount of monochromatic aberration in a lens and how to minimize the monochromatic aberrations. So first, what is monochromatic aberration? As earlier we have studied that in your chromatic aberration we used to consider white light that consists of different wavelengths, 7 wavelengths. But in this we are going to consider a light which has only a single wavelength, that is monochromatic source of light. We are going to use a monochromatic source of light in this case. So when we used a single wavelength, then also we observed that there is some defect in the image formation, and this defect was told as a monochromatic aberration. Now this aberration depends on various factors, that is on the optical system's various factors. Let's see what are the various factors in the optical system. So first, monochromatic source of light we are using. Chromatic source of light. That is, which has only a single wavelength. Now it depends on some factors. Let us find what are the factors. So this aberration occurs due to, number one is large aperture. If you are considering large aperture of an optical system, large aperture of an optical system. Second, it may be dependent on the larger angle made by the rays with respect to the principal axis. So large angles made by the rays with the principal axis. Of the lens. Now the third point is, if there is an object which is quite large in size, then also you can observe such aberrations. So large size of an object. So these are the some factors on which the monochromatic aberration depends. Now let's comes to the types of monochromatic aberration. Now there are 5 types of monochromatic aberration. First one is your spherical aberration. Second one is your coma. Third one is your astigmatism. And fourth one is curvature of field. And fifth one is distortion. So these are the 5 types of monochromatic aberrations depending upon the positions of the focal lengths. Now I will be discussing one by one in my topic. So first today I am going to discuss about the spherical aberration. Spherical aberration. I am taking here 2 cases. One is when you are considering the object is to be at infinity, and the other case is when you are considering the object is at point. So let's start with the spherical aberration. So I am just drawing a diagram to explain this aberration. So this is a lens, convex lens. This is the principal axis of the lens. I am drawing some rays, and these rays I am considering a white incident beam of light parallel to the axis. So that's why I am drawing these rays are parallel to the axis. That means your object is at some infinity. So I have drawn some rays. You can see in this figure the rays which are nearer to the periphery of the lens. These are the periphery of the lens. These rays are called as marginal rays. And the rays at the center, and it is quite nearer to the principal axis, it is called as paraxial rays. These are all your paraxial rays, and these 2 rays are your marginal rays. And this is the principal axis. Now when these rays passes parallel to the principal axis, and after refraction through this lens does not come to a focus at a single point. It does not come to the focus at a single point. Rather, the focus is different. There are various 2 different focal points in this. So the marginal rays these marginal rays, they focus near the lens, whereas the paraxial rays focus at a greater distance from the lens. So just I am drawing it. The marginal rays focuses at some point here, and the paraxial rays focuses at point here. So let's say this point is my FP, that is the focus point of paraxial rays, and this point be the FM for focus point for marginal rays. Now from the distance of FM to the lens gives you the focal length for the marginal rays, and the distance from FP to the lens gives you the focal length for the paraxial rays. Now here, between these 2 points, you observe the axial spherical aberration, or you can say the longitudinal spherical aberration. So this region from here to here, you observe the axial spherical aberration. So as in the chromatic aberration, when white light was passing through the lens, it get focus at various points. So you had different focal length for the different colors. So to get better kind of lens, so what they consider a white light then. So when you are considering a white light, then also they observe that they won't get the focus at a single point. So here you can observe that the focal points has 2 different focal points, that is FP and FM, and the image is between these 2 points. So when you put a screen between these 2 points, wherever between these 2 points, you will get the image. So let's say I am placing a screen somewhere here. This is my screen. So I see that I get the image as a circular disc. I get the image as a circular disc, and this circular disc is called as circle of least confusion. And the radius of the circle of least confusion gives you the measure of axial chromatic aberration. Axial spherical aberration. Now, as you go nearer to the FM or to FP, this circle of least confusion radius or the diameter goes on decreasing. As you go towards this point or towards this point, this circle diameter goes on decreasing. So it is maximum at this point and minimum at these 2 points. So let's say this is my, I have not denoted this is your IM, the image formed at focus FM, and this is the image formed at focus FP. And let's say this circular disc named as A and B, called as a circle of least confusion. So this is a case when you are considering a wide beam of light incident parallel to the principal axis. So there can be another image where it shows that the object is at a finite distance from the lens, and in that also we will see that how you get different focal points. So let's see. Again I am considering a lens. This is my principal axis. I have a point object over here, let's say O. So the rays, I'm drawing some rays, so some marginal rays and some peripheral rays over here. So the rays which are nearer to the periphery of the lens are called marginal rays, and the rays which are closer to the principal axis are called the peripheral, is called as the paraxial rays. Now, when I am considering a point object in the same lens, for the same lens, the point object is considered, that is, the object is at a finite distance from the lens, and a single wavelength of light is incident, or monochromatic source of light is incident on this object, and the rays refracted through this lens, and it focuses at different points. So these marginal rays which are nearer to the periphery of the lens, they focus near the lens, whereas the paraxial rays, these two are paraxial rays, they focus far away from the lens. So just draw that. Now I am going to consider a point object. Let's say this is the principal axis of the lens, and I am considering a point object O, a monochromatic source of light incident on this object, and the rays get refracted through this lens. So just I am drawing the rays for this object. So this is my marginal rays, as earlier I said. And these rays is your paraxial rays. Now the marginal rays will focus nearer to the lens, whereas the paraxial rays focuses far away from the lens. So these are the marginal rays. This is the paraxial rays. So I got image at two focal points. So let's say this point is my focus point for marginal rays FM, and this is for paraxial rays, so FP. So the image formed here is IM, and the image formed here is IP. So you observe the aberration between these two focal points. If you place a screen over here, you'll see that a circular disc kind of image is formed. Let's say this is A and B, and this diameter, the circular disc diameter, goes on decreasing near the FM point and FP point, and it is maximum near the cross section of your marginal paraxial rays, that is this point and this point. So this is all about the spherical aberration, both for a wide beam of light and for a point object. And you have studied about the circular least confusion. This is nothing but a circular disc kind of image is formed between your two focus points, and this region, that is the distance between FM and FP, gives you the longitudinal spherical aberration. Now the reason for this spherical aberration, what will be the reason for this spherical aberration? Now for a large aperture lens, suppose you are considering a very large aperture lens. In that lens, we assume that the lens is made up of or built up of different circular zones. And these different circular zones have different focal lengths. The outer zone is known as the marginal zone, and the innermost or the central rays are called the paraxial zone. This marginal zone has smaller focal length, whereas the paraxial zone has a greater focal length. And the difference between the image formed, that is a distance distance along the principal axis between the image point IP and the image point, this as you studied, the image point IP and the image point IM, IP and IM, gives you the longitudinal spherical aberration. So main reason is, when you are considering a larger aperture lens, we consider this to consist of different circular zone. And each circular zone has different focal lengths. Its focal lengths. Each circular zone has its focal lengths. So different zone have different focal lengths, or you can say different zone has different focal length. The outer zone, as we have, this is a lane, suppose we are considering each to be having different zone. These lanes having different zones, and each zone has its own focal length. So you have different focal length for different zones. And the outer zone means this and this. This outer zone is called your paraxial zone, which has small focal length. So next one is your outer zone is, outer zone is your marginal zone and has smaller focal length. Let's say as we have done here, that is FM. And the inner or central zone is called paraxial zone, and it has a greater focal length. And the difference between these two focal lengths gives you the measure of the measure of the longitudinal spherical aberration. So this is all about what we studied about the spherical aberration, and in the coming class we will be discussing about the spherical aberration due to a spherical surface, and in that we are going to calculate, or we are going to measure the amount of spherical aberration in a lens. So if you like my video, please subscribe, comment and like. Thank you.